All right, so I think we're just gonna have to power through, hopefully. All right, so let's try this again. We have a new Part Studio, a new tab for it, and we're gonna do cow catcher. Let's in our new tab, let's go ahead and name it cow catcher. And we put that down there and go full screen. And what's the other thing I need? Okay, so let's work through a bit of a plan for this. And this is a complex shape similar to, if you recall, number 7 from the green sheet, where the only way to do this accurately is with a loft. Okay, so we are going to do 2 pentagons, sort of home plate shaped things or sketches that are the correct distance away from each other. Okay, essentially the height away, which is 0.75. So we're going to do one sketch that is sort of the sketch of the footprint, which is, you can see it better on this view, where it's this width, a short line up, it connects up, and so it's going to be something like this, or they're both roughly this size. But we're going to draw that first. It's sort of the footprint, and then we're going to draw the top directly above it on a new sketch that's 0.75 above it. And we know that this back line of the top view lines up with the back line of the top pentagon, lines up with this line of the bottom pentagon, because this face is flat. And then we are just going to draw the other pentagon on top of it and loft one into the other. Okay, that's going to be our main situation. So we'll draw the bottom one first, because that way we can draw it sort of on the horizontal plane, the plane called top, and it will be down or what have you. Okay, so let's infer the dimensions here. We have a width that's 1.8, but I want it to be centered in our universe, so we're going to do 0.9 in either direction. Then it goes 0.25 up in both directions. So right now we're like that. Then it connects to a point out here, and this point is 0.9 from the left side of everything and 1 from here. And once we have this point, we can just connect like that. Okay, we aren't given the length of these sloped edges, and we don't need to know them. We just need the starting and ending point for any line, and you know that correct line. So let's start with a sketch on the origin plane called top and look at it straight down. Okay, and our first 2 lines were 0.9 this way. And we can go ahead and dimension that. 0.9, zoom in appropriately. And same thing the other direction. That will give us our 1.8, right? Yeah. And then we have the 2 short lines that go up the side that are 0.5 TYP, typical. And so that means same on both. So we'll go ahead and draw a 0.25 quarter-inch line there. And another one here, making sure to snap to vertical. If you miss one of these dimensions, if it's not snapped to vertical, it won't work. And out of 20 of you, that will probably happen to 1 or 2 of you. Don't feel bad. The point that you will know that it didn't work is after we loft, we're going to have to put a sketch on the front. And if you don't have the dimensions right, this front face won't be flat. It'll be slightly contoured. Is that the right word? Slightly curved. And you won't be able to put a sketch on that face. So you got to sort of nail these dimensions. Okay, then, like I said, we need slope lines that connect here come on, pen. Yeah, we need slope lines here that connect to where we finished. We just need to know like the starting point there or the ending point, whatever. And that is 0.9 from the left and 1 from our baseline. So let's just go ahead and get a work point and we can put it out. Oh, it's snapping here to like let me know that it's a soft snap. It's still going to make the point out there, which is what we want. And let's dimension the distance from here to something on the side. This may consider it over constrained. No. Okay, so it's gray here. If you did it exactly the same way in clicks I did, it'll be gray. The reason why it's gray is because it's technically over constrained, which is at this point is fine. Because when I made this point, I had this snap directly above. You can see I'm getting the vertical snap. That's saying lock it on to that directly above our origin. And then when I put in the dimension, it's saying it's already locked in place. You can't really change it. Where if I just made my point a little bit off center, which is it's rarely a bad idea to like avoid snapping because that'll give you a little more control. But we'll make that 0.9 and now it's not gray because I did need that dimension. Either way, so long as it's centered, however you get there, it's fine. And the other dimension is the distance from there to our base or our whatever front, and that's exactly 1. And now we have our dimension to work point, and we can just connect that to that, and that to that. And that is our first sketch. Okay, let's look at it from a corner. We can turn off all of our origin things. And well, let me do a offset sketch now. Okay, so in order to sketch, we need to do a new sketch, but it needs to be 0.75 above where we drew. We're going to need a new plane. And we can offset the plane from here. Just click somewhere on that surface. And our offset is the total height of the thing, which is 0.75. Okay, so now we have a work plane that is in space, but we need to sketch on it. So let's go ahead and sketch and click on, you can click on it here or here. And now we have a sketch plane. Okay. And we could turn off the visibility of our first plane. It doesn't really matter at this point. But you can see how where we're sketching is above it. Let's look at it straight on. And we need a point. I mean, it is our origin point. Will it let me snap to it? No, it will not let me snap to it because it's on a different plane. Let's go ahead and project our origin point. And you can see now we have a point there. See if that's enough to go where we want. Okay, let's figure out some dimensions. This is, that's not what I want. I want that. Our shape is going to be the same basic shape, but just a different size. And once again, we're going to start with this line, which is 1.2, but because we want it centered, we're going to go 0.6 in either direction. Then 0.25 up each side. Then we're going to find that work point, and that work point is 0.6 from the side, which makes sense, it's centered, and 0.75 from our first two lines. So we can go ahead and do that. Let's go like that. Okay, so with the line tool, starting from our projected point, which is also the origin, well, it's above the origin. Okay, first click there, second click somewhere where it snaps to horizontal. There's nothing else to snap to, but yeah, there you go. So make it that big and dimension it. Dimension. Why is it not letting me? Oh, let's turn off the visibility of sketch one at this point. It's going to be a pain to dimension with. So let's go ahead and dimension that to 0.6. What is going on? How did I do comma 6? Okay, and just making sure that we are lining this up correctly, we need to go 0.6 the other way. I don't know why it was giving me such a hassle with dimensioning. Okay, and again, making sure we're going the correct direction. We now need to go 0.25 up in each direction. Okay, and now we just need our work point out in space somewhere, like there, and we'll dimension the distance from there to something on the side is 0.6 also. And then the distance from there to our sort of first line is 0.75 that direction. Then we can just connect that to that and that to that. And you see it fills it in. Or it's fully dimensioned. Let's go ahead and finish the sketch. And we have our footprint and top contour there. And now we just need to loft, which is this tool right here, which profiles. This is one of the profiles, and this is the other profile. And there you go. You can see it sort of extrudes, but converts as you go. Okie dokie. Why is that there? Which point is that? Do we have? Yeah, okay. Yeah, there you go. Almost done. Not really. All right. So again, it's going to take some more inferring. You could see that it's shelled from the bottom, which is this the shell tool? Yeah. Just means it's carved out, but carved out with a specific amount of material remaining. And we actually need to do that next because you can see the shape here has 0.1 remaining all the way around, but there's these little indents that are 0.05 indented. And if we did those indents first, there wouldn't be enough material to cut out the remainder. So we have to do the shell first, and that will give us, then we can do the other things because they won't be affected. The shell won't be affected by it. So all we need to do is shell tool, which is this one, and from, which is and The dimension we want is the remainder, which actually is 0.1, which is the default dimension, probably for you, same. And there we go. We are shelled out from. We've got two more part features, I think. We've got a pair of inset faces that are the shape of the cutout is 0.1 from the edge of the face, and the cutout, you can see that it's dimensioning 0.05 remainder, 0.05 remainder, and because the whole thing is 0.1, that means our cut is 0.05. It's just going halfway in. Okay, so we're gonna have to do this twice. There isn't really a way to pattern it, but that's fine. It's not that hard to do. We'll start with a sketch on this face. And at this point, like I said before, if you go to make a new sketch and it won't let you choose that face or that face, it means you messed up on one of the dimensions of the loft. That's fine. Now's the time you have to fix it. Okay, so we got a new sketch. We're going to choose this face, and we need to bring in the shape. Which one is the offset tool? We want, there we go, offset. But we want to project this face because I'd like to have, is it going to give it? No, it's not going to. Oh, wait. Let's just go ahead and use, click on that. And offset is this tool. Yeah, offset. We should be able to click on the edge there. No. Click on the face. Yeah, okay, so we're there, and we don't want it to go that way. We want it to go this way. All right, so if you missed that, I don't think you even need to do the projected geometry. You can just go to offset, click on this face, and it will guess that you want to draw a line that is 1/4 inch bigger than our face, but we don't. We want to make it smaller, so you can drag that arrow in till it's like that. And I wonder if we can dimension it now. Sure, dimension 0.1. Okay, so it should leave you with a full closed loop like that. And now we have our sketch. We can extrude, choose that interface. And we don't want to create material. We want to remove material, but we only want to remove 0.05, which will make it go halfway through. And there you go. And we do the same thing on the other side. We'll start a new sketch here. Offset tool on this face. Drag our arrow in, and you can see what sort of shape that's making. Click on dimension. 0.1. Finish sketch, extrude, choose that. Again, we're not adding material, we are removing, but we are only removing 0.05. Okay, there we go, getting close. So the only other part feature is there's 3 pegs or nubs on the back that clearly are supposed to line up with the corresponding holes on the front of the train body. But the dimensions are a little different as far as where they're measuring them from, but they obviously will have the same finished location. Okay, so let's take a look. We know that there are 3. Where is it? Which part view is it on? Okay, so the size of the pegs is 0.125 in diameter. I'm not sure why they dimensioned it by like this sort of dimensioning. Like clearly that's a diameter. Why they would have these extension lines and arrows instead of a leader line, but that's fine. They're 0.25 0.125 diameter, and they are extruded 0.125. There's 3 of them. Okay, obviously extrusion has to come last, but we know the size is 0.125. The key is, well, the other part we need is the location. Let's just go ahead and make 3 circles, and then we'll dimension their location. So it's a new sketch on this vertical face. Let's get a circle. Let's just make 3 circles that are sort of in the correct location and dimension them to the correct size with 0.125, 0.125, 0.125. Now, where are they? Well, the top center one is well, we know it's centered. Okay. Where does it tell us that it's centered? Okay. So both of the side ones are 0.125 off the ground and 0.275 in from the side. And from that, we can dimension 0.625 off of either side, and that would give us the left to right location of the top one. And then the top one is also 0.625 off the ground. So let's give it a shot. So we'll dimension this to the ground was y. Dimension this to the ground 0.12, and same thing for this. And this was 0.625. Seems kind of high, but that's fine. Wonder if it's the exact same in the other direction. Is that 0.125? Of course it is. And then these are both from there to this corner point. You have to dimension to the point, otherwise it's not going to work. 0.275 that direction. And this one is 0.275. And our only missing dimension is the left-right location of this. And the left-right location of our top center is 0.625 from the center of this one. There's a lot of other ways we could have done 0.6 from here or 0.9 from whatever. Let's just put it in the way they have. So we'll dimension first click there, second click there, and we need to make sure that we have this direction dimension. We don't want the absolute distance or the vertical distance. We already have its vertical location. We just need this, which is 0.625. Here we go. Everything's fully dimensioned. Finish sketch. Look at it from a corner. Extrude, choose our 3 pegs, and the extrusion, I believe, is 0.125. Yeah. So that extrusion, you can see if you follow these extension lines up, it's 0.125. This is telling us, this is a redundant dimension. I've never noticed that before. This is saying the center point of the top peg is 0.125 off the ground, but they also told us it's there. So there we go. We found a redundant dimension. Yay. 0.125. And there we go. And there's only one other part feature, and it is a fillet. The sort of edges of these cylinders are all knocked off with the fillet tool, or excuse me, with the chamfer tool, because it's a straight line, not a rounded edge. And 45 degrees just means it's the same distance down as in, but it also means it's just a one-dimension extrusion or one-dimension cut. And 0.01 is the amount. So let's go to chamfer, and we should be able to do this in all in the same feature. And we want 0.01, which is barely noticeable. Is that right? Is it point? Yeah, it is 0.01. And there you go. That is our cow catcher. Okay, this should be pretty quickly processed, and I'll put it up on